Hello and welcome to Eye on Issues. I am Francis Oyimaedet, coming to you live in New York, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. And today, as always, we will be looking at very important matters that will bring about the much desired development, particularly as we look to the new administration of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu at the federal level. And back here in Akwa Ibom State, we're talking about that of Pastor Umar Inos, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, and his deputy, of course, distinguished Senator Dr. Akon Eyanyi. It's about time for us to have meaningful conversation as a way of driving the attention of government to the areas that matters, and one of such area happens to be the welfare of Nigerian students. Recall just before the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari wrapped up, we had some of the longest strike actions embarked upon by ASU in Nigeria, in a way for us to look forward to, making sure the academic environment is a lot safer and better for Nigerian students. There's need for government and, of course, the leadership of the student union body to engage with successive administration. And what time is better to do that back here in Akwa Ibom State than now that the new administration is just setting the ground rolling and beginning to set modalities in place to ensure that the administration is smooth, successful, and impactful on the lives of Akwa Ibomites. And of course, for the South-South region, the question of international oil companies in Nigeria, the question of corporate social responsibility, and the local content quota has been on a heated deliberations on several occasions and across different fora. Today we will be having conversations bordering on these two matters, and I have the special privilege of discussing with, starting from my immediate right, his name is Comrade Wisdom Emmanuel. He is the NCG President, University of Uyo, and also has just been appointed as the PA to the Akwa Ibom State Governor and Student Matters. Welcome to Iron Issue.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And of course, a new face, but not a new face. He's been here before. We were here together, but we couldn't finish our conversation. So we did promise we're going to come back so that we can take the conversation to a logical conclusion. I have the special privilege of welcoming back on Iron Issues, Comrade Uko Michael. He is the South-South Secretary for the National Youth Council of Nigeria. Welcome to Iron Issues again.
Yeah, thank you. Good to be back.
All right, good to have you.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to start with you. The last time we had conversations, we were about finding a way to make sure the National Youth Council of Nigeria in Akwa Ibom State is stabilized. So, where are we at this moment? The last conversation was we were almost, wrapping up, tying up loose ends.
No, he must excuse us because of the public holiday. So afterwards, by next week, I'll give you. But everything is done.
Okay, so everything is
peace,
done. The peace has been
everything, yeah.
Okay, it's a nice thing to know that peace has been done. But let's look at international organizations or oil multinationals organization. For a while now, we've been talking about the fact that in Nigeria, most organizations, most multinationals operating are not complying with the local content quota. In Akwa Ibom State, for instance, we've had different agitations and protests from Akwa Ibom youths alleging that these firms, they come into Akwa Ibom, they go against every provisions of the law, and yet it seems like it's been accused, the immediate outgone National State Assembly was accused of being rubber stamp as being one of the reasons they did not hold accountable these organizations. Well, I'd like to hear, what is the NYSC plan to ensure that these conversations are driven and then Akwa Ibom youth gets what it rightfully deserve?
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, you must understand the fundamentals and the basis of why they were created. And fortunately or unfortunately, if you're a parliamentarian but you're not warded, you're not lettered, and you don't have a basic understanding of all these operations, you can be there and go after 4 years, and you don't understand what is happening in the local content. This why with the IOCs, for many years there have been leakages with these IOCs, and that's why in 2001 the then President Obasanjo had to invite the NNPC top leaders and said, also look at the extractions, what we have within us, and see how we can stop leakages, because there were the times that even you go inside the shipping, that the last person like cook or cleaner comes from a Filipino. Like as if we don't have those people. So by God's grace, by 2010, because of governance is continuity. President Goodluck, the then president, enacted that act, local content 210. And from there, I think the first years was Mekan Wagwa. He did well, and Wabote currently is consolidating on it. And those things now drips into the state. Now, you know, they watch over those persons, but the state also have a duty to perform. Or likewise, you have in the National Assembly, where you have even there's a chair in the National Assembly, both the lower and the Senate. You have the chairman and local content. What is their basic to see the oversight function, whether they are actually complying. But the areas that have issues up to now that they have neglected, as in neglected, is the area of gas. Gas is overflaring, and it's part of those people who are working on this to make sure that we reduce the overflow of it. And I know that for many years, gas has been flowing in billions of cubic, and we're supposed to rechannel them for use, for electricity, for home use, and so many other things. So these are the things that we are coming from the angle of the Youth Council to see that we also help in checking those things, whether they are actually doing that which they're supposed to do. And I thank God for the NCNEB, the local content board. And I remember in 2020, I led a delegation of the entire National Youth Council to the NCP board in Abuja office. And these are part of the things that we had to discuss with them. And we said that for that period, they were also doing the AKK 27 project, laying of pipes from south to the Kano. And currently now, Nigeria have got a contract and they have signed an MOU with Morocco on this same thing, on laying of pipe to Morocco. And about 9 countries have invested into that project. And this is an opportunity for us as young people to also tap into that project. It's not something we're going to bring other people from different extraction. We must monitor what is the quota, how many young people are they employing, what are the level, because I know very well that we have almost, there's no engineering level currently that is operating here that we don't have training. And part of the local content act is that if you don't have anybody in this field, yes, somebody from outside can operate, but you train that person between 5 years interval, then you absorb that person. And that has helped to reduce exploitation.
But are the companies complying? And I'm asking
that
question.
I'm laying the foundation. Now, that's what I'm saying. It is not a duty, even if they are supposed to monitor, we also that understand the basis of why they were created, we must also monitor them. Because another thing is that even our revenues, you know, there are some people that comes and operate in our littoral waters and now return, but they pay revenue to another state. There are some people that are operating within our waters, but they pay revenue to River State.
So what is responsible for that?
Now, what is responsible is monitoring. Maybe from the local level, they must constitute. That's why even in when you go to EKED and every other where you have the producing local government, they have what we call joint labor union, labor committee. These are the things that they must also have to align with maybe the committee chairman on petroleum in the National House of Assembly, the committee chairman on labor, because also it's necessary that we must have even the commissioner of labor and productivity, the commissioner of petroleum and all those things. There must be a task force within our state to also make sure that we monitor these people so that there will not be too much lapses. And we are also losing because when they come, they throw penny on us, and it's going to be a problem. Even part of the PIA, I'm not sure they have also started doing that.
That is an entirely new conversation that we'll have to dwell on.
That is part of, like, you know, the oil theft within our youth council. We have a committee on that. We are partnering with all those other agencies on oil theft. There's a committee that we form, and we've also mobilized young people within the state that covers the operations, and those people are working. And every time in 3 months interval, they give us reports. So
okay. Let me come back to you, Comrade Wisdom Emmanuel. You are the SUG president for the University of Uyo, and recently you were
let's go with the immediate. Okay.
The immediate past. Okay.
My administration had passed.
Okay.
Though they have not done the election yet.
I know the elections are not done, so we can still assume that you are still the president until you've handled officially the mantle of leadership to the next person. Okay, so now you've been appointed the PA to the Akwa Ibom State Governor on student matters, and there are a lot of questions Nigerian students, Akwa Ibom students have been asking over time. The very first thing is, but before I even throw you into the hard boys, how does it feel to be speaking for the Akwa Ibom student community?
Oh, Okay, thank you for this opportunity. I, it feels so good to speak for the student. You know, over time, I've been seeing myself in the spotlight where I have to be speaking for others. And God has brought me this far. And from the journey as SG president, you know, a lot has been done, a lot has been said, you know, but the community is a very strong community. They are very intelligent, and if you are talking for them, if you are advocating for them, you must be very intelligent to be able to, uh, you know, intercede for them to be able to get things, or liaise with the government or the administration to be able to get something for them. So it actually feels good to be speaking for the students, the most intellectual set of people in the state.
It feels good, I must
Yeah.
say, to be speaking for the youth population, the Nigerian students in Akwa Ibom State. But let's get to talk about the challenges the Akwa Ibom student community has been speaking about for some time now. I'm talking about, first and foremost, the question of bursary. How has that been so far?
Okay. The question of bursary, I might not really want to go into that because this is a new administration, and I've just been appointed as the PA to the Governor of Student Affairs. And I can remember some time ago during the campaign that the governor promised that the students' bursary will be paid. And you can see from his recent development, donation of about 100 million naira for the students living with disabilities. You know, the persons living with disabilities, not just the students, because that covers for people that are not even in school. It gives them hope that, okay, if the provision is made for them, they can actually go to school. It challenges them to actually take this bold step. So the governor of the state, I might not speak for any other administration, I'm speaking for this present administration. It's just, you know, it's just starting, it's about 30 days so far. So for me, I feel everything, the yearnings of the students, the problems of the students in the community, I believe with time it will get to be solved immediately.
Okay, but you've been the student union president in the previous administration, and you've seen what played out. Most of the conversations Nigerian student, Akwa Ibom student had was the fact that bursaries were not being paid, and that was why the student community were advocating for whoever they're going to give their mandate to be somebody who is going to also prioritize the question of bursary. And like you rightly stated, Governor Pastor Umoino has started with granting 100 million student fund to people living with disabilities, students, non-indigents and indigents of Akwa Ibom State. But within the purview of your speaking, where you're given an opportunity, like you said, the first interest is the Nigerian student, the Akwa Ibom student. What are the things that are in your pipeline, if I'm allowed to ask you that question, for the Nigerian student? What?
The governor of the state, let me start by his person. From explaining how he is. The governor of this state is someone that goes for excellence. He doesn't just believe in mediocrity. He goes for excellence. And when I had a discussion with him some time ago, he said that many students that are outstanding in their different courses, it was really particular about scholarship. The issue of bursary has been kept on his table. But it was really very specific about the excellent students from each of the departments. It was really specific about them. And I can remember a certain time when I was really active as a student union president, he single-handedly paid school fees for excellent students that were living with that are still living with disabilities. He paid school fees for them. So I believe that with time, the issue of this bursary, we should be looking at the solution this bursary will help to solve. But I believe that with time, we can just sit down in a round table, then get to decide on what the benefits students will be getting from this bursary and how it can be improved upon. If it's not really good enough for the students, we can see other ways to be able to help the students, really the indigent ones. In the university, we have the indigent students, people that cannot even pay school fees. So I think we should start from the priority. The bursary thing is important, but we have to start from the ones that are priority to solve. That is for the excellent students and also the indigent students, which has been kept on his table, and I believe that it's going to handle them accordingly
All right,
when
now,
the time comes.
let me come back to you, Comrade Uko Michael. You are the Secretary, the South National Youth Council of Nigeria, and the students are part of your body.
Yeah,
So
I was,
how would you react to the fact that, you know, the students seems to be on the front burner of the new administration?
you know, I've been a one-time secretary of the entire in the whole country. I was the national secretary of National Association of Nigerian Students, and we understand. I'm a stakeholder. I'm still a comrade. That was the beginning of my struggle, of my activism. I know for many years we could understand these issues. People go for the minor and forget the major. And if you don't treat the major, the minor will not help. Like the Excellency is saying, like what happened in the last administration, because I could monitor it. What the former governor said, do we go for bursary while the infrastructure have been dilapidated? Do we go for bursary when even the staff are not being, their welfare are not being taken care of? That's why part of the things that the former governor did in terms of education, the state tertiary institution, when you go, their welfare package is far higher than the federal university.
That's very true.
That's part of the thing that was very critical, because the person that is transmitting knowledge to you, if that person is not well fed, it will give hard-baked results. So bursary was, we're not worried about not paying bursary. We were worried about the welfare, the structure. And that's why they did part of the education confab. Part of the thing that was discussed is that these people come to deceive us with bursary, paltry sum, and now allow the other places to be dilapidated. So that's why they need to return to observe, to check that the infrastructure is intact and being improved upon, and the staff welfare also. So that you must help the staff, because their target is for them to do research and open up the intellectual space for students also to walk into. So anything less than that, that's why you see that in tertiary institution in Akwa Ibom, sorting is at its minimal level. But when you go to some of the federal school, you know that sorting is higher, because their welfare, they struggle with it. Take a walk, go to maybe Akwa Ibom Polytechnic. Take a walk, go to Akwa Ibom University. Have targeted into, so that the student must also leverage on that and come out with excellent results. So the issue of bursary, every time is bursary. In our time, we were screaming this until we open until our eyes were open, that every time they give you bursary and they abandon the other side, you're still going to struggle. So part of the thing that the former governor did was to make sure that the infrastructure is up and doing, and also that the institution also must access state fund. When you go to college of education today, they have all the courses that they wait for accreditation, they are giving them 100%. It has never happened before, because they invested on infrastructure. When you go to college, you see roads now. Before that time, it was like an hover. It was bushy all through. But now when you drive into college of education, you see what is happening there. It's because the government invested there. And now, the new government, their target is to make sure that people have, for example, the 100 million fund that just started. Scholarship is very key. Some of our elders today, they are beneficial of scholarships. Whatever made them today, they access scholarship. Bursary is paltry.
Now, there's also a question. Yes, this conversation around bursary and being not enough to even cater for the well-being of students. We know sometimes bursary goes to as low as 5,000 naira. And then you ask the question, what can 5,000 naira do? Can it even afford data for the Nigerian student for 1 week to handle the level of assignments that we get from our lecturers? But then, away from that, there have also been a growing need and concern or call from Nigerian students.
Let me tell you the deficiency about it. When you throw bursary open, the people in the law faculty, they are not going to take this bursary. Theirs is grant. If you are going to law school now, you spend no less than 3 million. Laptop, school fees. And now the people in medical field, 10,000 will not take them to anywhere. They need grant. They need medical grant. And those things are built through scholarship. And I remember in between 1999 and 2006, the then governor Obonta invested scholarship on the people that were in maritime academy. Some of them now are big millionaires. Some of them are captains of industry. Some of them are investing in the oil and gas because of the scholarship they got. Majority of them went to Malaysia. Some went to Singapore. And now, if you see the return on investment, it's massive because the then government invested right. So there are areas you need to invest money. I'm saying, if you want to follow Buzzry, is part. We paid then. I was the one that took the Akwa Ibom student to Abuja to interface with Gospel for him to pay Buzzry when I was Secretary of NANS. But when we returned, I said, all these things is just normal. It's a pseudo thing. It's just a normal jamboree. It does not touch the foundation.
All right. Now, since we are talking about return on investment,
yes,
right now,
that is the most. You remember that's the most.
Yes, definitely return on investment. Every businessman, every government needs to look at what is investing in and what that will bring back to the state. Now, we are talking about key infrastructure. We're talking about key developmental indices.
Right.
And right now, one of the front burners of conversations between the Governor Moino's administration that he mentioned in his very first visit to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, was the Ibom Deep Seaport project.
Yes.
Now, there have also been conversations from experts from the sector that we in Akwa Ibom, as we speak, we seem not to be ready for the number of personnel that seaport would require.
No,
People are not well trained enough. We don't have competent hands enough to man the certain responsibility. So, are these part of the conversations that your council will be engaging with the present administration on?
5 months ago, I was with the then Commissioner for Labor and Productivity. Over 3,000 Akwa Ibom youth were sent to Port Harcourt for training that has an alignment with the Ibom Seaport. We were over prepared for this. We have the personnel. All our people are littered everywhere. And we need that seaport like never before. Because the Blue Sea economy is the richest economy. There's no money in the land. There's money in the sea. The money in the sea cannot be compared to the money in the land. That's what they call it a Blue Sea economy. So we have personnel ready. We are everywhere. Truth be told, we are everywhere. It's not even about the Ibom Seaport. Let them reject that of the Tinapa, the neighboring state. And if we open up that place, even our people, they will still work there. Okay, what happened? The person that is heading Paul Osoro's wife, was the former secretary of NIMASA. And she's part of the committee. So don't tell me that we don't have people. We have people there, littered everywhere. That I'm telling you, people that in 2099, between 99 to 3, 26, they were sent on training to Singapore and all those things. We have people that are graduating from maritime over time. You know what? One of the things the federal government did to us was to go to Delta and now open a university, a maritime university, when we already had maritime academy that was supposed to be upgraded. So it's not a matter of even the seaport again. We have been cheated or they know very well that we have the deepest water. I went for my certification in Apapa Sea School. Sir, they dredge that water per second. They dredge that water every minute.
Okay, now
because they don't have, we have our own. You don't even need to.
Natural.
It's natural.
That has been established.
That's why.
But let's come back.
Now let me just say, as of last week, the depot, they are going to start depot in Bo. Two companies. Yes, two companies they are waiting for approval from the NDRPR, the downstream, upstream. Their office in Eket. I'm privy to all those things because we make sure we gather fact and we gather information. I'm privy to all this. You remember that we don't have a depot.
Definitely. And that is also one of the conversations that
now that's part of it. Now we have two companies that are going to start their outlet there. So very soon we are going to be extracting at least fuel from there. Though it was skeletal before, but they are going to start. So we are also appealing to the communities involved that they should at least have understanding with the people who are going to start. They should not. I must say this, that we had opportunity of developing our waterways when Goodluck was the president. I don't know why. You see Lagos, my fear as an environmentalist is that Lagos in 10 years, we don't know what will happen because Lagos is below sea level and their landmass is not big. What they are doing, they are sand filling. and you can only stretch water for a time. It will bounce back, but ours is natural. We are above sea level. So these are the things that we know.
But then there
We are still very
there is always a different angle to this, and
Yeah.
the angle is politics. So
that is the area I'm saying that my prayer is that the current president, will look above that and see that whatever comes here is one Nigeria. It was policy that truncated Tinapa. I remember when one of the ship betted, they were selling a car. At least I remember my friend bought a golf car for 250,000.
Yes, I had a friend who bought for 300,000.
So they knew very well that when this expansion comes, and we are close to the southeast. So it's not even the north fighting us. It was the south fighting the south because of remedy and so many things. I mean, I don't want to.
All right, but definitely that is a conversation that needs to be pushed. But we'll take a pause here and go on a short break. When we come back, we'll dwell more on the conversations on iron issues. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's still Iron Issues, and of course, we are coming to you live on Spectrum TV. And today we have the special privilege of talking about the student community in Akwa Ibom State, and of course, the place of corporate social responsibility, multinational, and of course, talking also about the local content quarter. I have the special privilege of hosting Wisdom Emmanuel, the immediate past, according to him, SCG president. Well, as far as administration is concerned, until he officially hands over, he still remains the SCG president of the University of Uyo, and he's also the PA to the Akwa Ibom State Governor and Student Affairs. And of course, also we have Comrade Uko Michael, the South National Youth Council of Nigeria Secretary, who is coming back so we can wrap up our conversation. But let me come to you, Comrade Wisdom Emmanuel. Our focus is the Nigerian students.
Definitely.
We've talked about bursary, and we've highlighted the need for the present administration to focus on more areas that is of priority importance. Understandable. But let's look at you and your office. From, transiting from a former SEG president to a PA on student matters. What are your plans? What should the student community be expecting from you?
Okay. First, I want to start with leadership. Everybody's a potential leader, and you must be able to lead yourself first to be able to lead others. That's what I'm trying to talk about right now. Is just about the mindset. First is to work on the people, work on the students to have the right mindset, to have a mind shift from what they have been thinking of before, having to relax. You remember the last government or the last administration said something about Takada, that is rise, and even this present administration is arise. It's the same thing. So it has to do with the mind shift. What they are trying to make us to focus on is the mind shift. First is the leadership programs. Get students to enroll in leadership programs that will help them also be able to cater for other people around them. With that, the job will be very easy for us that are representing them or interceding for them at the government level. And then there are other programs like getting job opportunities. Many of the students from my analysis in school, I realized that about 70% of the students are entrepreneurs, and we want to thank God that, and we also thank God that the governor of the state is an entrepreneur, is the leader, he has already taken the lead in that aspect. So he has brought himself as an example for many of us that are entrepreneurs. That okay, this is how you can start a business from a little scale, medium scale, then you can grow it to a very large business or enterprise. So these ways we partner with some agencies to be able to bring this benefit to students, like any marketing firm, trading firm. Students can get to enroll also on vocational studies and skills trainings that will also help them to grow their
Now, I know I've attended an event in your student community that had to do with exhibition of different food products
made in
Unio display. I know I've also been part of conversations with a lecturer from the Department of Business Administration to talk about building an environment for businesses to thrive in the University of Uyo. But beside that, away from that, since we're talking about mind shift, everything starts from the mind. And in Akwa Ibom right now, think around the election period, and still now, some axes of Nwangiba are very close to your permanent side. One of the key issues that we have is the question of cultism. In the context of mind shift, what will you be doing towards sensitizing the student population that the vices called cultism is not something that should be involved?
I want to correct that, because those social vices you find at Maniba Axis, they're not our students. They're not our students. Those are the community people that want to show themselves. I don't know what really led to that issue, but from my investigation on that, they were not our students that caused some of those issues. If you check in the University of Uyo, within the campus, we are very peaceful. Compared to some years back, we are very peaceful. We don't get to have any issue of someone having to extort something from you. Maybe you are just walking by the road, a court guy will just call you. That you come
well, I'm very much aware of that, because I was within the university community from way back 2006, 2007, so I understand.
Yeah, so the whole, it's not as if we have been able to eradicate it completely, but it has gone down to the minimum at some point, in the University of Uyo. And it's almost the same thing with the other universities. At least from time to time, we have, from the leadership programs we have in school, the seminars, orientations, students are becoming aware of these things, that there are people coming to them to lie to them about some of these groups or families that they call them. So in a way, there's a little bit of a mind shift in the university community or tertiary institutions. What you find, as you said, as you mentioned, is from that Waniba. You mentioned is Waniba, it's not the university community. And I want to thank the Vice Chancellor, University of Uyo, Professor Ndayo, for coming into, he has done a whole lot of work together with the Chief Security Officer, Supo Lasuko. He has done a lot of work in coping the menace that were caused by the cults. Clashes.
Okay. Now let's dig a little bit. You talked about the program for leadership for the Nigerian students in the Akwa Ibom community. Let's talk more into the entrepreneurs. Okay. Yes, we are talking about leadership, we're talking about training, we're talking about mindset. Apart from this training, another major problem that these entrepreneurs, student entrepreneurs, would be funding. So what are your plans? What kind of advocacy will you be doing with, in your engagement with the government of the day?
Okay, role to play. They have been playing their role over time. When I was really active as a president, we used to partner, with maybe any of the commissioners. We go raising funds for students, get the money, add it to their businesses. Even during the Made in Union display, we gave students some money. Seeing him as a role model during that event. So we gave out some money to students, and then we invited people to come and buy from them. That is like encouraging them to be able to do more of these things. And some persons that were really good with this, like producing their own stuff, like pitch their business, they were captivating in a way. And some persons came in, like Ms. Meflin Amana, she came in and sponsored most of those students, gave them some grants to start up their own business on their own. So these are things, if we are able to create visibility for these students, many people will come. We have potential people that really want to help genuine students, not just the government. Trust me, government is going to do their own part.
So
Yes.
in your words, we are looking towards seeing a lot more conversation towards creating the kinds of collaborations and partnership that will help the Nigerian students.
Governments, agencies, individuals, business owners, they are ready to support students. And this mind shift I'm telling you about is not just for the students, it's for everybody, even the older persons. And I got to realize that the major issues that people have when it has to do with supporting others is that at the end of the day, they don't get back the value. You know, if I'm giving you 200,000 as a person, okay, take it and go and invest. At the end of the day, the person will abandon the business and take the 200,000 to do something else. So, first, I said something about the mind shift. If you create this mind shift in the minds of in the students community, you will be able to, even if it's 5,000 that you give to someone, you'll be able to get value from that money back. And you can even recall in the Bible when the money was given to
definitely going to the talent scenario.
So that's just it. So we just have to dwell on that first.
All right, let me come back to you before we wrap up our conversation, Comrade Oko Michael. Going forward, the problems are there. We cannot exhaustively deal with the challenges, but how would your council deal with Akwa Ibom youths, particularly? Right now, there are crises brewing across because of the remapping thing, but that's an entirely different story. But then, what are the engagement, what are the lineup of activities your new leadership that you are bringing in will be having to ensure that Akwa Ibom maintains the peace that we have? Akwa Ibom is able to relate with the different organizations that will come in to do business so that we can have the unemployment ratio drastically reduced and then, of course, continue to maintain the status quo as far as peace is concerned.
Well, we are coming in to guide the process. And my prayer is that whoever is going to emerge at the end of the day should somebody who has this aspiration in his heart. Somebody who's not saying, okay, this is my end, I'm fulfilled. Not like the peer to the governor. Once upon a time, he invited me for a leadership training. I was part of one of the rapporteurs. Today I'm happy that with the little we contributed, and this is the result. So that's why our duty is to guide them, so that when they want to be misled or want to lose steam, we'll go and say no. And part of the things that in what the federal government does is that the senior special assistant to the president on youth matters is not only on youth matters, it's youth and student matters. So everything will be collaborative. Like he has made mention of trainings and all those things. Like I said, when we're discussing, part of the things we need to do is that collaboration. Like the NDE is open. The National Director of Employment is open. They have trainings. They have opportunities to train people in different angles of entrepreneurship. So like in Akwa Ibom, we are going to push the leadership of the Youth Council in collaboration even with the student, like the peer, because I'm not going to let him go astray. I'm not going to, because the pressure might be upon him. But when you open up other vistas, there are some other places you can access funds, help people, even without even informing the government, because this is just a visa they are giving to you. You explore it. You understand? It's just a subheading. So, but do it legitimately. You understand? You don't put illegality into it. So that's why every leader that is going to emerge, we are going to guide them. Like you see, there are all opportunities, like I said, in the oil and gas. There are opportunities in the other sectors. So we are going to push them and see to it that we harness and we get something in return. It's our state. Our state is still very virgin. Are you aware that there are some people that are still coming to extract our crayfish from our ocean? We don't even have access to that place. There are businesses that we are going to invite ourselves, talk to ourselves. Wherever there's openings, we tap. The one for students, we open up for them and give them. We are not going to be selfish. We're not going to be greedy. We just want a new Akwa Ibom. And thank God for Pastor Moino. He has consolidated already. Like I said, Moino 1 month in office. Now he came, they underrated him. He came as a sheep, but he's acting like a lion. Now, right. in 1 month now, they are now looking for not what Omana can do. They are looking for when will this Omana fail? When will he fall? Because everything about him daily.
Well, I think we'll have to pause that conversation there, because if I allow you, you definitely give the governor a free heart. Definitely. But thank you so much, Comrade Uko Michael, the South National Youth Council of Nigeria
Thank
Secretary,
you
for
very
coming
much,
again
Mr.
on
Frank.
Iron Issues. And thank you, Comrade Michael. Wisdom Emmanuel, rather, the PA to the
He's a wise
governor.
man.
And my name is Francis Oyima Edet. Bye-bye.